Hey, this is Suki, and welcome to another episode of the Hustle Reports. Today, we have a show with Peter Helms, my co-host, and we're going to be talking about if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail.
All that and more on the Hustle Reports. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of the Hustle Reports. Today we're going to be talking about some pretty cool stuff. She's going to interview me, I guess, about some stuff. I have no clue what she's going to be asking me. First, I have some questions for you, though, Suki.
You do?
I do.
All right, well, let's hear your questions.
So, I pay attention to what our audience says, and I want to hear what they're interested in. So they were sort of asking me questions.
Okay.
Sort of like they asked you questions, right?
Right, all right.
Yeah, same deal. They talk to me as well.
Like through private messages?
Oh, yeah. They
Yeah.
talk to me all the time.
Okay.
So,
Why, do you have fans now all of a sudden?
yeah, fans.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
Good
I
for
just
you.
call them friends. You guys are not fans, per se. You're friends. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So anyways, they've been asking.
Okay.
And there's a couple questions they wanted to know. So they asked me if you liked guys who were in marketing who have podcasts.
That's such a weird question.
Yeah, that's what they're asking.
People aren't really asking you these questions. You're totally just making this
I'm
up,
dead
right?
serious. Yeah, and they
All
also
right.
wanted to know if you were single. Like if you're seeing someone or...
Yes, I every year I file taxes and I put head of household, so
All
I'm not
business.
really right? That's what you're asking me?
I guess that's what they're asking. I'm just listening.
Okay, well, that's the answer to question number 2, and so question number 1.
Yeah, what about question 1?
I mean, do you like guys in marketing? Who the hell asked this? Yeah, I actually do.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, anyways, guys, we're going to also dive in a little bit today about business planning, because failing to plan is planning to fail. Really important. If you're going to create a business, you have to know what direction you're going. Otherwise, how are you going to get there, right?
Right. And I think you failed a whole bunch of times. I failed a whole bunch of times. And this is something we are experts at.
Yeah, I've definitely failed a bunch, but I don't believe you have to. You don't have to fail.
True. If people listen to us and our the advice that we give, then they don't have to fail as badly.
For sure. Yep. So you have some questions for me, I hear. Let's see, you got this all written down over there. It must be really serious.
Right. I'm trying to level up as an entrepreneur, write more things down, take notes, because I've realized if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, right?
Yeah, I went into this business meeting this morning, and I looked around. I was like, I'm the only guy who doesn't have a pen here today. I wonder if they're thinking that I'm not prepared. I take good mental notes, though.
Oh, do you? Well, do you have a phone? Because you could just take
I
notes
don't
on
need
your
it.
phone.
I have Photographic memory.
Wow. All right. Well,
Sometimes.
we'll
It's
see how good that
selective.
works.
Oh, really?
Hey, you never know. We'll just have to catch you off guard and see what happens, and
Yeah.
then I'll bring this whole thing back up and be like, see,
Maybe
you should
I
have
need to
taken
level up.
notes.
Yeah, maybe I need to level up. Maybe the note taking,
Right.
needs to
Well,
happen.
if you guys are entrepreneurs out there or aspiring to be one, whatever your method is for remembering information, just do it. Don't be shy about it. Come prepared. Bring a pen. Bring your phone. Take notes. Or just rely on your memory, I guess, like some other people. I guess that works
No,
too.
you know what it is? If it's something that I'm comfortable with, if I'm
Yeah.
in a setting that's okay, I've done this 100 times,
Right.
then I'm a lot less likely to take notes.
Uh-huh.
If it's something that I'm learning for the first time, then I take a lot of notes.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, speaking of notes, my daughter, when she was in high school, and this was back in, she graduated in 2018. So I think around 2016 or 2017.
Wait. I want to, for a second,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Yes.
So you have a daughter,
Yeah.
and in 2018 she was in high school.
Yes.
You can't be a day over 30. How do you have a daughter in high school?
Well, because
I don't even know your age, actually. That's really odd. I'm not going to ask because you don't
Right.
ask a lady her age, but I'm doing the math, and this is
see,
impressive.
you guys, if you do vampire facials and skin tightening like
Hey.
me, you will stay young forever.
Hey, it's like the fountain of
Anyways,
youth.
Yeah. So to answer Roy's question that he had earlier today, I walked in the room and I had a face mask on, and he said, "Hey, there's something different about your face today. Like, are you wearing different makeup?" And I'm like, "No, I got a procedure done. I'll tell you about it later."
Ron, can you show us what vampire facials look like? This is a thing nowadays. I never heard about it until you told me.
Right. We talked about this a few episodes ago, and
Yeah.
now a week and a half later, you're seeing the results. Plus, yesterday, I went and I got skin tightening done, and there's some radio frequency thing. I'm not really sure how it works, but they put this gloop all over your face. I think it's the same stuff that you put when you get an ultrasound. So
Okay.
that if anyone out there has been pregnant or is familiar with this stuff, I guess not just for pregnancies, but people
Yeah.
get ultrasounds for all different things, right?
Yeah, they do, for sure.
Yeah.
Like
And
if you get something
yeah.
lodged inside. Oh, here we go. Look
Okay.
at this. They really do that. They take your blood,
Yes.
they whip it up in this
Yes.
machine, and
Yeah.
then they put it on your face.
Right.
It's crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Right. And so the results don't happen instantaneously. You have to go a few times
Yeah.
to see those results. But
Does it hurt?
anyways, yes. Oh my gosh, your face gets totally fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing ever. So I told her the next time I come back, you need to put me on the laughing gas.
Yeah. We should get that one. We should do a podcast with you getting laughing gas.
I'd love to document this.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then I'm going to make a time capsule and like renovate my house and then hide this like whatever video in like a little SD card or something for someone to find one day.
So 100 years down the line, someone finds this and they're
Right.
like, what is this SD card thing? And,
Right.
And they create this whole culture around the SD card and what was on it.
Yeah.
It's like the holy grail of, and it was a vampire facial.
Right. Because I am an alien.
What?
I'm not sure if you know this already.
Well, you're from Canada.
Yes.
So like,
I do have an alien number.
yeah.
Yes. You know, funny enough, my alien number has
That sounds
666 in it.
offensive, actually.
Why?
I don't know.
An alien is just a being from somewhere else that's now in a new location, I
Yeah.
think. But anyways, yes. So about planning to fail and failing to plan and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So we were talking about my daughter. So she just turned 21 last week. So happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
It's been a whole week long of celebrations, and we plan on celebrating all year long because why not?
Nice.
Yeah. So you could do the math
I'm
and kind of
trying.
figure out.
I'm going to figure it out.
Okay. that's
If you
good.
guys want to guess, in the comments below, guess Suki's age, and you get a prize, $500 to the right winner, but you have to like our page and share it with your friends. And then one lucky winner is going to get $500 in the comments below.
Really? You're gonna do this again? You're just
Yeah.
gonna give out cold hard cash to people?
Yeah, last time nobody took me up on the offer.
Awesome. Oh, so you still have that
Still
$500.
got the $500
Nice.
for you
All
guys.
right. Hey guys, the money's out there. If you want to, I don't know, split the profit with me, maybe, then that would be just so nice.
You don't even need to get her age right. Just do it. Just go in the comments below and guess. All you got to do is guess, like our page, and share it.
Right. So even losers can get paid.
That's right.
I mean, right? That's what you're advertising. Is
Yeah,
that
they
okay?
can. At least they put in the effort, though. They're not necessarily a loser. They tried.
Well, you're a loser if you don't get the correct answer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, so back to this. You know what? This show is all about your expertise today because we don't have a
Okay.
guest.
All right.
So you're back in the hot seat. And
Oh boy, last time was pretty rough. You went deep.
a little bit. I don't think it was that bad.
I'm an open book. Whatever.
All right.
Whatever you want to ask.
Right. So well, maybe not everyone knows about this, but you have a background in advertising, digital marketing,
That's right.
marketing in general, and what else?
Just business, entrepreneurship.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's about time that we asked for your advice in some of these hairy situations that people get into.
I'm gonna send everybody an invoice after this.
Awesome.
I'm just kidding. This is going to be free advice, whatever you ask.
All right. So what was I talking about? The story of my daughter in high school, right? So she came home one day and she's like, hey, we just got out of this class and they're talking about digital print and billboards and magazines and newspapers and the yellow pages, and how that style of advertising is still widely used. But there was nothing about digital marketing and going into really the 21st century
Wow.
of, using social media as platforms of getting the word out.
Yeah. So I don't know what the question is.
So the question is, what do you have to say about this?
So I definitely can speak to it.
You have 10 years of experience,
I have
right?
10 years of experience in marketing, for sure. A lot of that has been in digital marketing, but I've also worked with traditional forms of media like print, radio, and TV. This is what I'd like to say, is that, yes, there should be an emphasis on digital media, for sure, especially preparing students for the future. However, the bulk of marketing budgets nowadays, and probably for the next 5 to 10 years, is still going to be spent on traditional forms of media.
Yeah.
Now,
why do you think that is?
Well, so the people with the purchasing power, and I'm just saying the majority of the people,
Okay.
I understand that millennials and Generation Z have more purchasing power than any other generation their age prior to where we're at now. I get that. But the bulk of the decisions and the purchasing power still lies in the boomer generation, right? So it's still this older age demographic. The way that this demographic consumes media is still very traditional as a whole, right? You have a lot of people, grandma's getting on board with apps, right? Grandma's getting on board with the internet. It's happening. She's got an iPhone.
True.
And so that's happening, but the bulk of marketing budgets, if you're going to get prepared to go and make decisions on marketing, you're gonna need to really understand traditional forms of media, and not either or, and new forms of media like social marketing on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, Medium, all of these other platforms, Quora. There's a bunch of social media out there that people should understand how to market on.
Right.
And be prepared for.
So I guess when people come to you and they're like, hey, I have a budget. So say it's like $5,000 and they're like, I really need to get the word out about my business. How would you split up that budget using traditional forms of marketing and all the digital online social media?
I really like how you mentioned how would you split it up, because too many people put all of their eggs in one basket. They're like, oh, I've got a budget and I'm going to spend it all on social media and it's great. No, it's a marketing mix for a reason. Like that is the actual term that you'll learn in college if you go to college for marketing. It's a mix.
Okay.
It's like a good recipe. You need all the different ingredients, and when you combine them together, voila, you've got the outcome, which is a marketing campaign in this analogy.
Right.
So I wouldn't even jump there yet. I wouldn't just say, generally speaking, everybody should have this mixture of different marketing medium, like social, print, radio, etc. It's going to depend on the market itself that company's looking to target.
Would it also depend on the type of business and the level of business?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's going to matter what stage in the game they're at. It's going to matter what company size, what's their company size, what's their product offering. There's a lot of factors that go into it. So it's really hard to just tell. This is a general statement, cookie cutter for all companies.
Okay, so it's not a cookie cutter formula.
No.
Right. Okay.
But what I would say is, like, you need to be using social media. And like, for example, if you're trying to target people between the ages of 35 and 54, let's say you have a real estate company and you're looking to target first-time home buyers, you're really in that demographic, maybe even like 35 to 44 is the bulk of first-time home buyers. You should be doing so where their attention is, and that's mainly going to be Facebook, not so much Instagram or Snapchat. That's going to be, let's say you're a retail operation trying to sell streetwear. Then if you're trying to sell streetwear, most of those people are going to be in the age demographic of maybe 18 to 30, 18 to 28, you definitely want to be targeting them on Instagram. So
Right.
yeah.
True. All right. So when people go to you for your services and expertise, they really rely on your knowledge.
For sure.
Right.
And at a high level, content is what it's all about. You got to
Okay.
produce high quality content,
Yeah.
and don't expect anything magical to happen for the first year. Like
Okay.
it's not like, oh, I put out some social media content and it didn't work. Well, how long did you do it? 3
So
months?
it's almost like an investment,
It is
right?
an investment.
So how I see social media or like marketing is you have to build a relationship with whatever that platform is. So for example, I don't have a TikTok account. So guess what kind of a relationship I have with TikTok? Zero. So even if I just downloaded the app on my phone, it doesn't mean anything. It's just kind of like being a parent. The second that you pop out a kid and you're like, hey, there's this kid now, you're not really a mother or a father. You have to be with that kid every single day and really nurture and care for them. And that's how the relationship is built over time. It's not just like, now I'm going to get this title and now I have something really good going on. It's like you don't, because you never created or built anything. And once again, the key words there, I think, are over time.
Over time,
Right.
for sure.
So just the second that, like, okay, so say I get my phone right now, I get the app, right? TikTok. And then I don't really use it, or I just go on there and check things out,
Ron,
and
we
I
got
put
a
one
phone call
video.
coming in? We got a caller? No?
Wow, you got super excited.
I thought we had a caller.
It's up there.
Oh.
Nice. All right. Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of how it is, right?
Yeah. You said something the other day, and it really summed this up. You said you can't expect people to come to your business just because you're paying the rent.
Yeah, true. I think that there's this misconception where people go out, on GoDaddy, they go and buy like a domain name, they start a website on Shopify, and then they take pictures and they put it up on this inventory listing, and they're like, oh my God, I started a business, I got business cards, and whoa, no one bought anything. And it's been
Where's
like 24
everybody?
hours. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what have you actually done? Just because you are paying for like rent, basically. Like when you're online, your website or whatever the portal is basically the rent that you're paying. In my case, I started renting a space on Franklin Street. So I actually have a real retail.
In Norwich.
In
Connecticut.
Norwich, that's right. And so I can't just pay rent and then just sit there and not, and expect people to buy stuff. I actually have to go out and market my products so people are aware that there's a store and you could come in and buy stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what are they? So in school, your
Yeah.
daughter was learning all about these print forms of media,
Right.
and I think that's cool and all.
Yeah.
But were they doing anything to prepare her for digital?
No, and that
Really?
was the amazing. I guess it's a little shocking that within the school systems nowadays they're not really teaching. Good use of social media, which from a business perspective, you do need like Google Ads and like Yelp. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
I'll talk all about
Okay,
that
good.
actually. Now, I do understand why they might not be teaching social media yet, because that is relatively new and it takes
Okay.
a while to prepare.
Well, it takes like 3 to 5 years to write a textbook, right?
Yeah,
So by
exactly.
the time
So I guess I can give them some slack there. But email marketing has been around for a while, and that's considered digital.
Right.
They're not talking about that. Also, what you just mentioned, Google Ads,
Mm-hmm.
right? Search marketing, getting your business to the top of the Google positioning. That's been around for a while, pretty much since the beginning of the internet. There's
Really?
been search engines.
So
yeah.
since 1991 or
Ask
1992?
Jeeves, yeah. Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, right.
And it used to be really easy to get a business to rank at the top of Google or any search engine like Ask Jeeves and these others. All you had to do is pack a bunch of keywords into the HTML of your website. HTML is the back-end code of a website. And so all you had to do is pack a bunch of keywords in there that were related to what people were searching for when they went to these search engines. So if
Okay.
you were, a plumber and you put in plumber, a bunch of keywords related to plumbing on the back end, then you would rank really easily. Google has changed that because there was a lot of spammers. They would just like get these outrageous websites up to the top that had nothing to do with the keywords people were searching for.
Right. So it's funny that you mentioned that, because when my daughter was younger, I was looking for a moon bounce for her birthday, and it took me to a porn website.
Moon bounce.
And right.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and it was terrible. And there was stuff about like roast beef and cheese or something. And I'm like, whoever is making, these AdWords or whatever, these people need to like go to hell.
Yeah.
Because you could just imagine if you're just like, hey, honey, for your like 10-year-old birthday party, like, why don't you go on the internet and search for your own moon bounce? I mean, now that 10-year-old child's subjected to, adult whatever activity.
My 80-year-old grandmother searched cinnamon bun recipes and got surprised.
Really? So,
ooh, cinnamon bun recipes.
Some hot buns. What she found.
Yep.
Look up Cinnabons.
They probably updated it now. This is like when the internet first was created by Al Gore.
Ron says, according to Ron, the internet was created by Al Gore. I don't know if that's true, but you guys better look that up and fact check it.
It's true. He's a reptilian.
What's a Hold on. We're going to digress here. We need to give some real advice to these people.
Yes. Okay. The real advice is that there are two types of aliens. One is the regular kind that kind of has a human-like body and the big buggy eyes. Okay. And the other type is the reptilian kind.
Got it. Right. So there's Greys, Nordics, reptilians. Where does George Bush fall into all of this?
Oh, George Bush. Mm-hmm. I think he's like a hybrid.
Definitely. Must be.
He's a little human, but a little reptilian. I think his father is full reptilian. Because he had the whole Gulf War thing going on, right?
I have no idea.
I'm just making all this stuff up as I go along.
Yeah.
About the alien part.
Yes, about the alien part.
Yeah.
I actually believe in aliens, but that's a whole nother subject. That I don't believe that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for believing in me.
Why, you're an alien?
Yes, were you not paying attention? We talked about that in the beginning part of the show.
What planet are you from?
I can't tell you that now.
Can we take over?
No, because I'm also in the CIA, and I'll have to chop your head off.
Jeez. But you do like marketing guys.
I do like marketing guys.
Who have podcasts.
Was that the question?
Yeah, that was
I thought it was just like, do you like marketing guys, ?
No, I mean, it's not for me. I just like, they want to know.
Sure, why not?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's dependent on other stipulations, but yeah, let's just go with that.
Like what other stipulations?
Let's save that for the next episode, shall we?
No, I want to know.
What do you want to know?
What are the stipulations?
I don't know. I got to make them up. I need time to formulate my response.
All right. I thought I was on the hot seat today.
You're making me feel like I'm on the hot seat, but
sorry.
you really are on the hot seat.
All right.
See, he always does this. Okay, off record, we get into these conversations on our way to meetings or whatever, and you always try and turn things around and flip it. Don't you find that you do that?
I don't know. I'm completely
Do you even
oblivious.
realize that you're doing this?
I don't even know what's going on.
See, you
I
guys?
plead the fifth.
Okay. Well, as the show rolls along, you'll notice more and more that you will try to get out of certain sticky situations and then flip them around and then put the questions onto me.
Yeah.
But I'm on to you.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about this, what they're doing in school, because I hear you. I went through college also, and when I was in college, I didn't hear anything about digital marketing. I found an interest in marketing in general, but all the examples were like outdated. It was like, what did ABC Manufacturing need to do when they got a budget of $50,000 and they were trying to expand by 20% next year into, another market?
Right.
Like, what? Manufacturing?
Right. Did you find that a lot of the case studies were based on high level, like mostly corporate businesses, like Dell? They talked about the Dell, IBM, HP, Apple, Microsoft, Coca-Cola. These are all like popular case studies, I feel.
Yeah, they would definitely use all of these case studies, which is cool, right? Maybe they're preparing people to work in these large corporations. But I just find some of the questions were so irrelevant, and then there was no real practical, hey, if you're gonna, it would just like so broad. If you want to do digital marketing, like, what does that mean, digital marketing?
Yeah, what does that exactly mean?
It's a great question. So
Okay.
any marketing that is using digital medium, social media is a big part of that. So also email marketing is a part of that. Websites, app development, digital advertising, programmatic is really big as well. You can get a lot of distribution through digital advertising. So if you go to like New York Times or something, and there's all of these articles that show up, and on those articles there's advertisements.
Okay.
That's considered digital advertising, not
Okay.
digital marketing, digital advertising. So
Okay.
there's a difference there.
Cool.
And then you have like native digital advertising, which is it's in the middle of the article itself. That's a key spot to be in. Why is that so important? Because advertising is all about making an impression, right? And you want to make an impression when you have someone's full attention. Right, so at that moment, that's why like a mid-roll advertisement on YouTube. So mid-roll is like at the middle of the show, is more valuable than at the beginning of the show, because you've got someone's full attention if they've made it that far in the video.
Oh, like a centerfold
Like a centerfold,
in a magazine, right?
just like a centerfold.
I don't even know if any of the younger kids really read magazines anymore, or is that something that's obsolete in the younger culture? Like, do you guys go out and buy magazines, or do you subscribe to magazines? But if you don't know what a centerfold is basically like in the middle of the magazine to get, I don't know, you probably know about this more than I
Why
do.
would I know about
Because you're the
centerfold?
expert, right?
Yeah.
It's like those 2 pages that when you open the magazine, they just kind of fall nicely in
Yep.
this natural place, and you get the whole picture. So,
Yeah, like Playboy magazines, they had a centerfold.
see, I wasn't even thinking about that, but here we go.
Yeah.
Yes,
we
like
used-
Playboy magazines.
Like Playboy
Yeah.
magazines.
Exactly.
They have a centerfold. Not promoting or endorsing that, but you know, it's a thing. Like people look at that stuff.
Right, so it would be like a lady and her full body, right? Just
Yep.
kind of like if I played across like this.
Yeah. We could put our hustle juice cup right on it. Just like boom,
Right.
centerfold. It would have the full attention at that point because it's like it's the best spot.
Right.
So nonetheless, that's what digital advertising is. Native advertising is putting an article right in putting an advertisement right in the middle of the article. So it's just like you're forced to see it.
So basically, when you do any kind of advertising, whether it's traditional print or digital, you're buying attention.
Buying attention. Podcast is
Right.
digital marketing. So that's another form of digital.
Yeah, so just getting the word out of for a product or service, right?
Yep.
So let's take it back, because like the big question, and the reason I started with this line of questioning is because a lot of the students in high school or in college want to start their own businesses, right? And what they're finding is that when they go to school, they're not given the real information, like the roll up your sleeves type of approach to go out and like go and make money essentially
Yeah.
at the end of the day, right? That's what it's all about. So what would you suggest to all these young students to start?
Yeah,
with
so
marketing?
definitely pursue your own dreams and passion, what you believe is going to ultimately lead to your prosperity and happiness.
Okay.
I also think the relationship you have with money is really important to think about, because if you see business or sales as like this, underhanded thing, or like this, it's just undesirable and you don't want to do it, it's probably because you have a negative relationship to money. You think maybe money is the root of all evil or something, which is not true. Money is not evil in and of itself. It's like if you love it more than your family, or if you love it more than yourself, then you're going to have a problem there. So your relationship to money is really important, because in business, you're going to have a lot of conversations about that.
Right.
And it is the motivation, right? So it's like seeing money as just a vehicle is how I perceive it.
Right.
I look at as currency. It's a way of getting things done. It's a way of accomplishing really positive things in the world. I can feed an entire community if I have enough cash.
True.
That's a really good thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something that students can look forward to in the future after they've kind of, I feel like, build up their success. But to first start, okay, so say student has a a bracelet making business. So they just like sit there and make bracelets, and they sell their stuff on TikTok or Snapchat or something. What are other ways that they could consistently go out and market their product?
Go knock on doors. Like, it sounds so old fashioned, but it works. Like, if you
Isn't that considered solicitation? Is that even
Yes,
allowed?
It is allowed.
Oh, okay. All right.
People can put like a thing up on their door that says no solicitations. I mean, what are they going to do at the end of the day? So what?
Right.
Just go and knock on their door. The worst thing is they close the door and tell you, get out of here, kid.
Okay, so door knocking. Now you talked a lot about, I mean, off the record, like when we have conversations about creating content,
Yeah.
where it's all about quantity, not quality.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by that? They don't have a budget. Remember,
yeah.
they can't pay your company thousands of dollars. So
Sure.
these are people that are first starting out.
Sure. So go to your school, especially if they're students, right?
Yeah.
They're at school. Go to your college or your high school library, print up a flyer that tells the benefits of your product, shows a visual image of it, and a way to get in touch with you. Print up as many of those as you can, right? So you can get cost effective. So on one piece of paper, create 3 of those. So it's like they're like little leaflets.
Okay.
And go just paper the whole city. Go on every car you possibly can and just leave those leaflets everywhere. It'll cost you maybe like 3 or 4 hours of your time, and maybe free because you're using the paper from the library at school.
Right? Okay, so that's one way. So
And they
that's,
better support you. They
Okay.
better be like, look, I'm just trying to make a career for myself. This is education. So
Right.
if they don't support you,
Yeah.
call me. I'll call them.
Well, that's good advice. So that's using like traditional print, but for free instead of taking out ads in magazines or billboards. And then with the social
Take a picture
media,
of it and throw it on social media.
There you go,
Ask
you
every friend,
guys.
direct message every friend and say, here, can you share this with your friends?
right? Yeah.
Do both.
That's very effective, actually. By taking a picture of it, now you're using that one piece of paper and you're effectively communicating whatever's on that flyer in different forms,
For
right?
sure. Every time you sell a bracelet, ask the person who you just sold to, do you mind if we make a great little live video right here? I'll actually give you a free bracelet on top of the one you already bought if you do.
Right.
Create a live video and just be like, hey, my new friend over here, Suki, just bought a bracelet. She really likes it. Can you show everybody what it looks like? And let them show the bracelet.
Right. Yeah. Can you speak a little bit about like live videos and how I was watching this thing on the internet, obviously, and it went something along like, nowadays, if you're just doing like static photos, you're not going to really have this reach because people's attention spans are, I guess, like it's like a goldfish, right? It's like
Perfect.
2 seconds
Yeah.
attention
Perfect
span.
example of this, and you want the proof of it.
Yeah.
I will. If you go back, you can see there's some videos that we did that were pre-recorded. There's a couple of them, and you can see the viewership was really low on those couple pre-recorded ones. If you look at this one, this is a live video. It's live streaming. So if you notice, the viewership on this video is much higher because it's a live video. So social media platforms like Facebook, their algorithm is designed to promote engaging content. Right? They want to provide a good end user experience. And a static image is not necessarily as engaging. So
Right.
they recognize that they will push with their algorithm a live video versus a static image. So it's just how the algorithm's set up. Just
Right.
the way it is.
Okay, so for a student, once again, with the bracelet business as an example, they could show videos of them making the bracelets.
Yeah, the
With
process.
The process. I think people are really, really fascinated by this.
Absolutely. And then you can, so it's all about storytelling at the end of the day. You want to tell the story of your company. And don't wait until it's like, super successful, or don't get it in your mind like, I can't show my bracelets because, it's just not there yet. I don't think we're ready. No, like document every step of the way, create videos. People love it. They'll get emotionally involved. And who knows, they might actually sponsor or support you.
Right. Well, I mean, it's easier said than done. Because when people put themselves
still do
out
it.
there and people write to you and say, hey,
Yeah.
you suck, or your bracelets suck, and your
Yeah.
videos aren't that great. I mean, what are your words of advice to people?
Fuck them. Who cares what people think?
Yeah.
Do what you believe is right at the end of the day. As long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, go for it. If your parents tell you you can't do it, you shouldn't do it, you should choose some more traditional route, I'm not going to say F them, but what I'm going to say is respectfully decline and go do your thing.
Is that what you tell your clients?
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
yeah.
That's really great advice. I like that. Nice.
I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like we don't need to beat around the bush, or what do you call it?
Rigmarole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an interesting word. I don't even know the etymology of it, but now I can't even say it.
Rigmarole.
Right. But I don't know. I think it's roll. It's spelled with the ROLE at
Roll.
the end.
Like Suki balls. Suki balls roll.
Yes. Yeah, they do. And I think what we are going to do, maybe in a couple of episodes, is I'm going to bring in Suki balls, actually, and then we could eat them.
Nice.
Yeah, we're just going to come up with a variety of different types of food, and then we're going to pick, like, we can eat them and try them and then see which ones we like the best. And those are what we are going to deem as, like, this newfound recipe called Suki balls.
Absolutely. And they're symbolic
Yeah, they're symbolic,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
of what the entrepreneur said to you. So what did he say again?
So,
He's like,
yes, this entrepreneur, when he's sometimes just challenged with, I guess, people just beating him down, telling him his ideas are terrible, and he's not going to amount to anything, he's like, you know what? I'm going to grow some Suki balls and just tell these people to fuck off
yes.
and just, stay on course and fulfill my mission.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, shout out to Dylan. He just turned 21 as well.
Yeah. He actually did a design for me for the first time. I think he was pretty shocked that he was like, wait, you're going to pay me for this? I was like, yeah, you did great work.
Yeah, he's just been so busy as an intern learning so much that he hasn't been getting paid really to do any of the work that he's been doing because he's been doing it just for the first time. So
That's the right thing to do, by the way.
Yeah.
Is like when you first get started, I actually did the same thing. Actually, I'll bring it back with a real practical story. When I got to this point where I read a ton of marketing material and I was still in college and I felt like I had enough confidence to take my product to market, I didn't go out and start pricing things out and selling that way. I would go knock on doors, literally, and I would go to businesses and be like, can I do your marketing for free?
Wait, would you knock on doors in the state of Connecticut?
Yes.
Did you do it in any other states?
No.
Did anyone have a dog that came after you and bit you?
I didn't knock on residential doors. I knocked on business doors.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, when I say knock on doors, like go to other businesses.
Oh, okay. But not if you're like making bracelets, right? Or is that
Why
what
not? Go to residential doors too. What are they going to do?
Oh, I don't know. Buy a bracelet.
Buy a bracelet.
Or you could get bitten by a dog. Hopefully not. I don't know. These are the things that I wonder about.
Yeah, go knock on doors. That's what I did. And I got a couple companies to let me do their marketing for free. So I got to try my hand at it. So what Dylan's doing initially is great. And I remember that moment where a client for the first time was like, I'm going to pay you for this. And I was like, what? How do I invoice? Like, what does that even look like?
Did you even
What
have
is
a
an invoice?
business at that time? Or you're like, oh, shit, someone's going to pay me. I got to hurry up and like form my LLC, go and get an EIN, start a business bank account.
That's
Is that what you did?
Yeah, it prompted me to do it.
Okay, wait, well, this is really great because now we could kind of talk about when you first start a business, what the timeline looks like.
Yeah, it's really not long at all. It's at least in Connecticut.
2 weeks?
Not even.
10, like 5 to 7 business days, right?
Yeah, rough that. Yeah, about
Up to
that.
10 days?
So really, it takes 5 minutes to go on the Secretary of State website and create an LLC.
Yeah.
And it costs you, I think, maybe $150 here in Connecticut.
It's
so that's what
100.
you would need first.
Yeah.
After that, you can then file online. All this can be done online. You don't need to go anywhere. After that, you can just go down onto the irs.gov website and register for what's called an EIN. That EIN is basically the social security number of your business because it's like a whole new entity. Once you have that, you can take it down to the bank and open up. You literally could do it in one day. Those 3 parts, business bank account, a EIN, and register your business with the state of Connecticut is enough. You'll also want to check with your locality. So like your town might have a registration process too. That depends on what your town is. And then of course you want to consult with an attorney to find out if there's any legal implications of the type of business you want to open. So some businesses you'll have to jump through a few hoops. So.
Right. Or they're just not legal in certain states.
Yeah. Don't start illegal businesses.
Yeah. Well, then you just wouldn't be allowed to really operate them.
Or go to a different state where it is legal. So let's say you want to open a cannabis place.
Right.
Like you're like, I want to sell marijuana. And it's legal in California, but it's not legal in Connecticut. Well, move to California.
Or Massachusetts.
Or Massachusetts.
Right? How's Rhode Island with the cannabis business?
They're
I don't
legal
really know
too, I
much
think.
about that.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in that space. I'm just pointing out, like, if a business is illegal, check with another town or city or state, and it might be legal.
Right. Yeah. So this is all really good advice that you're giving people. So I think that, okay, so to backtrack a little bit, you said that it could be done in one day.
Sure.
So the process could get started in one day, but I know for a fact that when you go to the bank, they're going to ask for the blue sales and what's it called?
Sales and use
permit. Right.
If you're retail. Some businesses don't need that.
Right. So if you are in the business of retail, you have to wait for that blue card to come in the mail.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or you can sell online, then you don't need none of it.
Well, you do need that if you're reselling.
It's not regulated. Internet's not regulated.
Yeah, but to open up the business bank account, only because I personally
Just do it anyways. Deal with the consequences later.
No.
Like, what are they gonna do? Really?
Well, you know what? Just go and find out. Don't.
Don't take my advice. I'm not an attorney.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, disclaimer on
We're
this
not the
big
government.
disclaimer, but
Just go and figure it out for yourself.
Yeah,
It's just fun, right? Like to go on the internet and just click on stuff and fill out forms and, just see what happens.
Yeah, just see what happens. No, like you should do it the right way. But the point is, it's not this super complicated thing that, some, mentor from, I don't know, some organization's trying to connect you with funding from a lender is trying to tell you. It's not as difficult as they say.
Yeah. Yeah, just starting the business and getting it off the ground is the easiest part of doing business.
Yeah.
I know from personal experience, and I'm sure you do too, right? So as long as you're 18 years old, you can start a business. Basically.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess the other question that I had in mind, or the other topic that I wanted to bring up, is about diversity and kind of what that means to you. You've been in the marketing arena for a while, and I'm sure you have a variety of different clients from all over the nation. So what is your experience with, I guess, people of like different diverse backgrounds and how are you able to market their businesses in an effective and appropriate light?
So I always take the target market into consideration.
Okay.
So I ask questions early on with my clients to get a good understanding of who they're trying to reach. And if I'm not familiar with that particular market, I go and ask questions among people who are and rely on that information. As far as diversity goes, though, I don't really run into it too much for my marketing company, but when I did a lot of work with like nonprofits and economic development, some consulting work I've done in the past, and in the political space, I was exposed to this concept of diversity. I grew up in Southern California, so I never really gave it much thought. It was just very diverse. All of my classmates, were from all over the world. I never really thought about it. I still don't. It's not the first thing that comes to mind if I'm putting together like a committee or a group or a board. I'm like, I know what we need. We need someone from a different background. I just don't think about that. I think about who that I know, regardless of their background, has the proper skill set, knowledge, and ability to bring to the table.
Right. Okay. So when you dabbled in politics or in government a little bit, or you're on different boards or commissions, do you find that, how do I word this without sounding rude, that a lot of the people are very conservative or like focused on this whole diversity?
I'll say it in an offensive way. So they're like pilgrims. You got pilgrims running around who are like just behind closed doors. They swear like a sailor. They drink like crazy. But then they're all concerned about, oh my gosh, we need to protect our reputation. Like, yeah, you were just down at the pub and you drank $200 worth of alcohol and you stumbled out of the place and kicked your dog when you got home, but you're worried about whether or not you say the right thing in the boardroom? Like, no.
Right. Okay. So in a lot of different communities or like organizations, there's this huge struggle with this whole diversity piece, right? And so how do you market that? I guess people are different, and specifically people with beards and with turbans, they're not terrorists. I'm just gonna come out and say it because
Yeah, oh, okay, I see.
okay, in the state of Connecticut, or maybe like in this area where we live, it's
Yeah.
not really diverse, where you have this big community of people from the Sikh religion or Muslim or whatever. So people are just watching CNN and they're like, oh my God, I just saw a bunch of stuff and it was like some 16-second news segment, and now I'm an expert on terrorism.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it is so simple-minded to view somebody based on their exterior, right? There's this old saying that a lot of people have heard, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
And I think that we need to go into business with that mindset.
Okay.
That just because someone wears a turban and has a beard,
Yeah.
which are pretty cool, by the way, beards are in and turbans are pretty dope.
Yeah.
I won't wear one, it's not my thing, but I think they're cool. And
Yeah.
so if someone looks like that, get to know them, ask them questions, you might learn something.
Right. So if you're trying to, I don't know if you've experienced this before with like a client, and you really want to change their culture within the workplace, within the organization, to make it more acceptable or accepting of diverse people, how would you go about doing that?
That's a really good question. I'd call Kevin Booker.
Okay. Like it's a whole paradigm shift,
Kevin
right?
Booker specializes in diversity training.
Okay.
So I'd bring someone in like him to
right.
actually influence that organization.
Uh-huh. Right.
If they're open to it. They might not even be open to it. They might like exactly the way they're doing things.
And then what does that look like? I mean, it's just going to be fail for everyone, no?
Their problem, not mine.
Oh my gosh.
You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. I'll point it
Yeah,
out. I'll be
that's
like,
true.
hey, look, you might want to bring in some diversity here.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, so this is just my input on it.
Yeah.
Diversity is not people from different cultural backgrounds.
Okay. So
In
what
my
is it?
definition.
Okay, right.
Diversity is people with different opinions, thoughts, and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, may that include someone who's multicultural? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just base it on what, like, oh, this person is Sikh, therefore they're diverse. They might think exactly the way you do. And you're just
Right.
putting them on the board based on their exterior.
Right, they're just
Which
being
is
judged
racist.
by their appearance,
Yeah.
which then you say that's racist.
That's racist.
Considered racist.
Or prejudice.
Or prejudice, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the other thing that I've heard since I've lived in America is that people from other cultures are coming here to start businesses, and they kind of need to adopt a little bit of the American lifestyle. So it's up for them to find a way to market their businesses in, I guess, a different light where we could make it more digestible even. I've heard this before. So what's your advice on the flip side to people coming from different countries to kind of adapt or just be flexible and welcome the American market?
It would be the same advice to somebody I gave who lived in America, grew up here, and was trying to start a business. Just do it. Do not allow people's negative opinions to stop you. Keep
Okay.
going with what you believe is right.
Yeah.
As long as you're not hurting anybody or anyone else, go for it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Just do it. Try it. If it doesn't work, so what? You failed and you benefited from learning something.
Right. I think that, like, as you're talking, I'm just realizing that what it's all about is obscurity. That people are just being fearful of whatever's out there, like, because they don't know enough
Yeah.
of the other person. So the more information and content that you put out to your audience, it will become less obscure to them as to what your message is or product or service is.
For sure. So
Right,
are we going to
yeah.
talk about failing to plan or planning to fail?
Yeah, so I mean, all of these things essentially are like, if you are, I don't know, if you have a business and you're finding that people don't like you because you're of your culture or whatever. So maybe you should plan something out in advance.
Yeah.
Like the marketing piece, right? Sit down with your marketing team or whoever you're hiring or yourself or your family and just say like, what is our message? Like, what's the brand that we're trying to create? So that's also a part of, I think, the planning process, right?
It is. No, it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's important to have a business plan, but not necessarily like this 18-page document that is super in depth.
Really?
Yeah, it's not.
You don't think that's necessary at all?
Not at all. It might be necessary to get funding. If you need funding, then go ahead and go through the motions.
Okay.
And put together what they need to get your funding.
Okay.
But so much is going to come up in business that you need to adapt to. It's ever changing. The market is changing. Products and services are changing.
All right.
The way people consume, your media is going to change. So when you start like you have a marketing plan that's a 5-year marketing plan, that is horrible marketing plan. Like way too far in advance.
Why? Because you don't have a crystal ball that can predict the future for your marketing plan 5 years from now?
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
that's terrible.
What your brand message is going to be. You can't plan that stuff out. A lot of it is listening to how the market responds to your product and service and your message, and then adjusting it accordingly.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're trying to say is that there's 2 types of business plans. One that could be like 18 pages long in order for investors or lenders to really like evaluate your entire business, right? Yeah. So that's something later on down the road, but when you're first starting, what is the basic plan and what does it look like to you?
Sure. I think the mission of a company is super important. What is the North Star? What direction are you planning to take this company?
Okay.
I think it's really important to lay out what the unique value proposition of the company is, meaning what makes your product or service and brand so much different than the others out there who are already doing it.
Okay.
Because there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that's been done has been done before. Yeah. So it's not like, just because you have this brand new widget, there's some variation of that in the world already. Right. So what makes you different from the rest? I think that's important. Budgeting, how you plan to fund this operation. Once you have the funding, how do you plan to spend it? Those things you can plan out for sure. What's your organizational structure going to look like? And that may even change. That may move around with time, depending. So
that's 4 components so far.
Yeah.
So the first one was the mission.
Yep.
The second one was the unique value proposition. The third one is budget. And the fourth one is organizational structure.
First chart, yeah.
Right. So the first 3 are, if they're pretty basic. I think anyone could kind of understand that. But it's the fourth part. So what do you mean by organizational structure?
So there's a whole episode we can do just on that. So I'll save that for another episode. Okay. I think this has been really good though today. I think we'll give you guys that info. Don't worry.
Yeah. I think that's really important to have. The first 3, a lot of times when I sit down with entrepreneurs, it's really just focusing on the first 3. The first one, sometimes it takes them weeks or months really to define what their mission is.
Find out what works for others and come up with a variation of it. Like don't think you need to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Like don't copy, don't plagiarize, but analyze what others are doing that's working and come up with your own variation based on that.
Right. And it's a little bit of yourself too, your personality and your character. So for me, how I see it is like businesses are kind of an extension of yourself. So if you look at the beverage industry, let's just look at iced tea in general. There's Lipton, there's Honest Tea, there's some grandma tea that's out there. I guess there's like Spike tea. There's so many different types of iced tea. There's organic, non-organic, sweetened, unsweetened. And so if you want to get into making iced tea, you really got to find something that is a bit of an extension of yourself. Like, why do you like iced tea? Sure. Is it because you're really vegan and really into organic things, or you just want to you just like drinking tea and getting all caffeinated?
All right, so we're going to wrap this episode up, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Hustle Reports. Make sure you give us a thumbs up if you like what you've been seeing, hearing. Share it out with your friends. We love your support. Really appreciate you. And make sure you also check us out on our Facebook page. which is the Hustle Reports, and also on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your streaming audio. Make sure to look us up on there and follow us. So that's all for today.
Thanks, guys. We covered a lot of ground today, a lot of really great content, and it's thanks to my co-host, Peter,
I couldn't do it
and
without you.
all his expert wisdom. So
Thank you. You've been a great interviewer.
thanks. More to come.
All right, take care. The best is yet to come, my friends.
Bye.